Today's session is all about an exciting initiative to create a new API standard for transferring survey data, TSAPI, or TSAPI for short. Matt Gibbs is going to kick us off with a discussion on why this initiative is important for our industry right now. Tim Brandwood will be sharing the great work that has already been completed, and Jérôme Sopoçko will reveal how everyone, from tech developers to clients, can get involved. So, without further ado, it's over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Bex. Welcome everybody to what we hope with your help will be an initiative that gears our sector up for this decade and beyond. Question for you. How many surveys are conducted every year globally? Hundreds of millions? Billions? The richness of that survey data is growing, both in terms of size and depth of content, and it's certainly very significant for the millions of people who share their views with decision makers about topics which are going to affect their lives. So thank goodness we've been able to rely on accepted standards for transferring that survey data from one platform to another via files like .sav and SSS. Yet those file-based data exchange mechanisms are becoming increasingly irrelevant and inefficient in a world that is defined by the interconnectivity across all platforms and devices, direct connections, the Internet of Things. Much of our sector's suppliers and technology do offer a direct connection, an API, but overall it's an environment riddled with round pegs and square holes. It's the equivalent of one platform only exporting .csv and another platform only ever importing .sav. It's difficult to work with, it's cumbersome, and if nothing is done to rectify this situation now, we risk being left behind. Other industries are aligned and they're moving quickly. Heads of tech budgets are prioritizing connectivity, and innovators may not even see our sector as a viable option in the future as it's so hard to plug into. We don't have an accepted standard of exchanging our survey data directly within this new environment, and that is our initiative. For us to come together, define the API standard for transferring survey data together and share it with the world. To be clear, everybody is freely contributing their time and resources to this initiative, and our strategic objectives are to help preserve and develop market research's position at the heart of business intelligence, to improve connectivity within the market research industry and facilitate innovation as well, and ideally to try and create a bridge for all the insights developed in our sector to flow out into other sectors and industries. This is a time of wonderful opportunity. Data feeds the 21st century's digital economy, and TSAPI provides a chance to connect our industry's services to the wider economic system. As a group of professionals, we are without doubt the best at doing what we do, so let's seize the day and capitalise on those expertise. Before we explore the finer detail of the work that's been completed so far and how you can contribute, let us muse a little on what a TSAPI future might look like for all of us. For a start, we could choose from any data collection platform based purely on the merits of its application to our project, the way it should be. We'd be safe in the knowledge that our data can flow out into any analysis tool. We'd be connecting technology and people. Imagine being able to share specific variables with any specialist, whether that be for translation services, text analysis, advanced statistics, and receive their work back directly into your system. This advantage becomes particularly apparent when we consider data viz. We could connect to platforms specifically tailored for market research, to wider BI viz systems, or to dynamic web-based options. And in terms of the wider world, a TSAPI future brings us all endless possibilities. We could dynamically connect to sales and lead generation systems, notify teams of survey activity via instant chat, push survey activity to any learning management system, forge a two-way connection with social media channels, and we could reach even further via indirect connections, positioning market research professionals at the heart of the wider business intelligence community. A flow really is the word. Instead of data travelling in a single direction, the vision is that any element could interact with any other element at any time. Patchworks like these do exist, but they're often very difficult to hook up and require a lot of resources which are rarely in everyone's budget. TSAPI would be a single standard connection across all platforms. And it's worth emphasising that this would facilitate an empowering form of collaboration. So as a call to arms to all market researching software providers, please join in. A robust and well thought out standard will help future-proof your products and let you plug into that wider system. to smaller scale innovators and providers of technology outside of MR, please join us. TSAPI will make connecting new and interesting tech to our industry really easy, as it would transferring our survey data into your world. And a special mention to those data viz platforms. Please help us with the definition. Seamlessly connecting and reshaping survey data to fit with your systems is going to benefit everybody. On an individual consultant level, everybody's welcome. Being able to work across any collection, analysis and visualization software is going to improve speed, quality of deliverables and potential some cost savings there as well. And to research buyers and clients, we need your ideas, and please do request a TSAPI connection, as being able to assemble the best of the best without fear of internal or supplier connection issues is going to help you and also facilitate innovation, leading to better products and more reliable services. So please visit tsapi.net, sapi.net. You'll find all the information on there. If you scroll to the bottom, there's an option to stay informed, and the more people who do that, the better. It's an interesting time, so why not be part of the story? Speaking of which, on to the next chapter. Over to you, Tim.
Thanks, Matt. So let's take a look at what we've done so far to turn this TSAPI idea into a reality. From the outset, we had a few key guiding principles in our approach. First and foremost, the most important thing is to get the conversation going. And we felt the best way to achieve that is to start by writing code first. So we write code to illustrate what we're trying to achieve and get the conversation going. Secondly, we think it's also really important not to reinvent the wheel. So where existing ideas can be repurposed and brought into the API, then great, so much the better. We want to invite collaboration, so everything we do should be done in a way that is publicly visible to everyone, accessible to everyone, free for everyone to contribute to. And lastly, we're not trying to do everything all at once. The most effective way to get where we want to go is to start small and build up through that collaboration. So we felt the best way of illustrating what we've got in mind and what we're trying to achieve here is by building an initial proof of concept to illustrate the idea. So here we are. This is our Swagger page. You can find a link to this on the sapi.net website. And this is just a public facing web page that allows anyone to come in and see what methods the API supports, how to use them, and sort of what data they return. And we've deliberately made this implementation public so people can see it, they can experiment with it, provide feedback, and even change it if they fancy getting involved with the code and sort of improve it as we go. It's a REST API. It follows very standard conventions, returns JSON data, so it's very, very easy to program against and to work with the data that comes back. As I mentioned earlier, it's effectively an extension of the SSS work that's gone before. So the structure of the two methods here that we've implemented should seem very familiar to those of you who are familiar with SSS. So we have a method that returns the metadata, and that method gives you the information about the structure of the survey. So what variables does it contain? What variable types, what responses and contained within each variable, and so on and so forth. And then we have a second method here that that gets the actual interview data itself. So that's very analogous to the sort of definition file and data file structure of SSS itself. So we've sort of stayed true to that kind of concept to begin with. So there it is. It's there for everybody to try. So why not check it out?
We are standing on the shoulder of giants. About 25 years ago, Keith Hughes, Stephen Jenkins and Geoff Wright got together and published the spec for the SSS format. A bit later, Ed Ross and Pat Malloy joined in and contributed. And together, they have created one of the building blocks of market research. But the reality is that file exchange formats are dying or are dead. What everybody wants now is one single source of truth. And if you export your data, it probably means you're going to re-export it. And re-exporting means it's going to get out of sync at one point. We are at the edge of the API. think of it as Word. You could, of course, export Word as a document. But with Office 365, lots of people can contribute at the same time or read it, and you can decide who's going to be allowed to comment, to update the data, or just see it. So to publish data, an API makes sense. The people, the more obvious people that need to participate are the people, and I know a few, that write software for data collection. Kawi, for Capi, for Cathy, but anything that's going to work on Alexa, the chatbots, and all the things. We've got a few software providers already on board, and excuse me if I forget one of them, it's not intentional, but I know we got Snap, we got Jid, we got Confirmit, Nebu as well, and Askia said that they are ready to contribute. But we need everyone else. The Voxco, Qualtrics, SurveyMonkey, SurveyGizmo, Google Forms, anyone that creates data, it'd be great if they could embrace that standard. So if you are a client to any of the people that I've mentioned, or anyone else, you got to demand that they embrace TSAPI and that they support it. The people that are going to really benefit from it is the people that do dashboards and visualization. So we need eTabs, we need the Prezi, we'd love to have Tableau and Power BI and many others. Again, if you're a client to any of those companies, it makes sense for you to ask of them to use TSAPI, because it means you'll be able to choose the best of breed. You know, it's going to be very easy for you to decide. Well, you know, my data, I've got it there. Who's the best to manipulate it or visualize it? Finally, well, you could be a market research institute. You could be a final client of market research. And again, we need you on board. For you, it's going to be an easy way, TSAPI, to archive your data. It could be used as a data lake. And you will benefit from it because there'll be no more moving and duplication of data. Of course, I mentioned it before, you'll be able to choose the best system for your needs. And as I said many times, you are the client, so you will need to speak to your software provider and demand TSAPI. Finally, I'm going to say it again, you need to contribute. And if it's not in time and code, please contribute financially. We are doing this for free. We are TSAPI is not there to make any money, but just to make things easier for everyone else. So we will need resources, we will need website to host the data, and we know that we will be asked to test your implementations, and that's going to take a lot of resources. So if you want this endeavor to be a success, please contribute. Thank you very much.
Where to next? As you've heard, we're seeking contribution in several areas: time, coding skills, resources, and importantly, ideas. How could TSAPI help you? What is it that you need? We do need to start small and get the basics right in the code. One of our guiding principles is build from a solid foundation. Equally, we need the conversation to run in parallel. The new JSON format is already overcoming traditional file-based challenges, such as being able to communicate hierarchical data like grids in a single object. And there are lots of other questions which we should be answering together. For example, if we want TSAPI to help everyone, do we need a flattened format option for systems that can't handle loops and grids? How should data be selected? How and when should it be filtered so we only get what we need? Do we want write-back functions? And if so, when multiple people are collaborating at the same time, pulling data out, processing it and writing it back, how do we best make sure that any new variable names remain unique for all parties? Should we be able to alter the survey structure itself? For example, if a provider sees an error in a filter, could the main user give them the authority to correct that error via TSAPI? Should we build in the function to alter the metadata via TSAPI, the question wording, the variable types, analysis tags? Do we need a specific layout and reshaped output for BI data viz systems? And what about audio and video content? How do we best deal with those? And it doesn't stop there. On the admin and marketing side, how do you think we should involve people and communicate progress? We're building a network, but should we be going a step further and seeking proactive advocates in different regions, companies and sectors? And if so, where, who, which? There's lots to think about. And again, if you sign up to stay informed via the website, that's very much the first step. This is a by everyone, for everyone scenario. Over to you.